What's going on, guys? Today I want to show you guys 3 great methods to target fluke or summer flounder. 2 is going to involve me tying a rig, and I'll show you guys how to tie it. And 1 is just another method that I like to use myself. So let's get right into it. The first rig I want to show you guys is just going to be a single dropper loop with a hook on it, and then we're just going to put a bank sinker right below it. How to tie it? You're going to start with your line like this. You're going to cross it over each other. You want it to be about, about a foot from the end of it, because this is where your sinker is going to go. So this will be the bottom. Your hook will hang right here, a little above it. Tie a dropper loop. You're going to take this loop that you made. You're going to go one over the other, just like this, about 5-6 times. Then you'll have this eye like this. You're going to take the bottom of the loop that you originally made and put it through the eye. So you have something that looks like this. Now at this point, you'll lubricate this, and then you'll begin pulling it tight to make a loop just like that. So after you got your loop made, one thing I like to do where I'm going to put my sinker is I'm just going to tie 2 overhand knots. That way, if I snag or hang up on the bottom, my sinker is going to be able to easily just break off, and I'm not going to lose the whole rig. I'll be able to just tie another sinker right on. So 1 overhand knot, tie another one. It's got enough strength to hold, but if you hold bottom, if you do get stuck on the bottom, you're going to be able to rip it right out. So in the end, your rig is going to look something like that. This will be on the bottom. You'll have your GULP right here, or whatever, whatever soft plastic you decide to choose, which I'll show you a few in a second. You'll be able to just twitch your rod and slowly let the current just take your sinker along the bottom. This is also a very foolproof method in that if your sinker is on the bottom, your artificial lure is in the strike zone pretty much at all times. So as for your dropper loop that you have, you're just going to need to add a hook to it right here. I've chosen a 4/0 GAMAKATSU bait holder hooks. These things are barbed right here. I don't know if you could see that, but it's going to hold your whatever soft plastic you're putting on this hook. It's going to hold it in place much better and be able to withstand bites and fluke trying to pull it off the hook. So in order to put it on, just kind of pinch it as thin as you can. Thread it in between the eye of the hook. You can give it a twist, just make it a little stronger. Now just like that, you're going to have your hook hanging just like that. Sinker on the bottom. Now you can put whatever soft plastic you want on here. If you're going to be using a 4/0 hook, it's relatively small. You're probably going to go with something smaller in like the 4-inch range. These are the GULP swimming mullets. These are very good. I use them a lot myself. Earlier in the season, where we have some bigger bait around like bunker, you might consider going to something like this, 6-inch, much thicker. At that point, you might upgrade to, a 6/0, 5/0, 7/0 hook, just to expose the hook point and better hook set into fluke. The second rig I want to show you guys, it's going to be a simple high-low rig. This is very popular fishing for fluke. So simply, instead of a sinker like the last rig, the weight that you're going to use to hold bottom is going to be your bucktail, and you're going to change the weight of your bucktail based on the current you're fishing and the depth, the wind, all those different things. But for right now, I'm just tying a uni knot to get my bucktail on. Clip this tag in. You can tie whatever knot you like just to get your bucktail on. And then after that, we'll go about 10-12 inches above that. We'll make another dropper loop like we did for the first rig. Again, make your loop and then do several twists. I did 6, Nope, make it 7. Then put your bottom of your loop through the eye. Oh no. So, no. Now, after you got your dropper loop, thread your hook on there. SPROs. Once you have your hook on there, now you can begin putting, you know, whatever gulp or soft plastic you want to put on there. I would recommend on the bottom you have a nice big profile here. You could put a big 6-inch grub up the end of your bucktail. You could put a big swimming mullet, and then on the top you could put a different offering, you know, the 4-inch swimming mullet, just something smaller so they can basically pick and choose what they want. You never know what they're really going to be feeding on down there. The difference between this is that you're going to have to really feel where your bucktail is in the water column. You don't necessarily want it on the bottom because the fluke are on the bottom looking up. You want it to be just above where they're sitting. So you're going to slowly retrieve this and twitch your rod, and then every now and then, maybe 1 or 2 times a cast, kind of just stop and let your bucktail get back to the bottom. Once you feel it hits bottom, begin your retrieve again. That way you know you're in the strike zone for the most part. Right here I have some BKK Silent Chaser jig heads. These are great. You can get them in all different weights, and they're going to have different hook sizes for each weight. So you can get a 1/4 ounce jig head with a 4/0 hook size, or a 2/0, 3/0, whatever you want, so you can better fit whatever soft plastic you're going to put on it. For me, for the most part, when I'm out there early in the season, I like to use these a lot. These are 7-inch. Like I said, there should be some bigger baits around early in the season. Throw these on a jig head as light as you can, while being able to maintain the control of it and being able to hold bottom is going to get you more fish. A lot of times if you're fishing too heavy and your jig is just falling to the bottom way too quick, those fluke won't be able to pick it up or grab it. Sometimes you'll downsize your weight a little bit and you start catching fluke because it's able to slowly come down, and fluke will pick it off just like that. Some other great choices to put on these when you're out there jigging: the grub. This is great, great option. I always like to use bright colors: orange, chartreuse, pinks. Now, later in the season, or once the water starts getting really warm, like in the summer, I'm going to start throwing stuff like this. That's 4 inches smaller. The beach troughs are going to start loading up with spearing. So they're going to be sitting right on the beach lip, and they're just going to be picking off spearing and sand fleas. So this is a great imitation to mimic spearing. I'm really big believer in the jerk shad. I was just showing you the 7-inch. So as we get into the fall, you'll have bigger mullet that are coming in. You'll want to start using big stuff again. And early in the season, like around now, when the bunker's around, throw something big. Once it starts getting warm, again, this is the 5-inch. It's a little smaller. You're going to better mimic a spearing and better be able to catch fluke. All these great products, they're online, they're in our store. Pick up some gulp, pick up some shads, some grubs, even some bucktails, depending on which rig you're going to try this season. All in store and online. Come check them out. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck this season.